Sultan Suleiman, the longest reigning ruler of the Ottoman Empire. Remembered as the Magnificent for taking the empire to its peak. Yet surrounded by controversy for the fate of his own throne-deserving sons. He was born on the 6th of November, 1494, in Trabzon, near the Black Sea. His father, Shahzadeh Selim, later became Sultan Selim I, and his mother was Hafsa Sultan. At the time, the empire was ruled by his grandfather, Sultan Bayezid II. In 1512, Selim seized the throne and became Sultan Yavuz Selim. He expanded the empire eastward and claimed the holy cities. Suleiman, then a young prince, was sent to Manisa for training. He had no brothers and no rivals. In September 1520, Selim passed away. Suleiman, just 26, became the 10th Ottoman Sultan. Calm, educated, and ambitious, he was ready to shape the world. His first target, Belgrade, a fortress city guarding Europe, where even his father had turned back. But Suleiman moved with confidence. By the summer of 1521, over 90,000 Ottoman soldiers marched through the Balkans. Cannons rolled, siege towers rose, the Danube was blocked by naval galleys. Belgrade was surrounded. The siege began. Trenches pushed forward, cannons roared, the ground trembled. Inside, 7,000 defenders resisted bravely, but day by day, they weakened. Then, in August, the gates opened. There was no revenge, no chaos. Suleiman entered with restraint. The people were protected, churches left untouched. Belgrade had fallen with dignity, and the world had seen a new kind of ruler. But this was only the beginning. In 1522, he launched a large campaign against Rhodes, an island held by the Knights of St. John. After a months-long siege, the knights surrendered, giving the empire control over the eastern Mediterranean. Then came the Battle of Mohacs in 1526, where the Hungarian army was defeated, and King Louis II died while fleeing. Hungary collapsed into chaos, and the Ottomans became the leading power in Central Europe. In 1529, Suleiman advanced toward Vienna, the capital of the Habsburg Empire. Although the siege failed, it marked the furthest west the Ottomans had ever reached. Later, in 1534, Suleiman captured Baghdad from the Safavid Empire, expanding the empire deep into Iraq. In 1541, he took full control of Buda, bringing central Hungary under Ottoman rule. But while he was winning on battlefields, tension was rising at home. His eldest son, Shahzad Mustafa, was admired across the empire, especially by the Janissaries. Mustafa was born in 1515. The beloved eldest son of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. From an early age, many believed he would be the next great ruler of the Ottoman Empire. He was taken to major battles alongside his father, showing bravery and skill that won the hearts of soldiers. In 1533, he was appointed governor of Manisa and later led successful campaigns, earning victories that strengthened his reputation as a strong leader. The turning point came when Mustafa once appeared before the palace with his army, including the elite Janissaries. Some feared he would remove Suleiman and take the throne, but Mustafa never acted against his father. Still, the sight left a deep mark on Suleiman's heart. He began to see his son's popularity with the Janissaries as a possible threat. Influence from Hurrem Sultan, Suleiman's second wife, grew stronger. She wished for her own son, Selim, to be the next ruler, and convinced Suleiman that Mustafa's loyalty could not be trusted. In 1544, Suleiman removed Mustafa from Manisa and appointed Selim instead. Tensions rose for years, until 1553 during the Persian campaign. Suleiman ordered Mustafa to come to his tent. Friends warned the prince, but he trusted his father completely. Upon arrival, he was asked to enter without weapons, still believing no harm would come. Inside, Suleiman's expression was cold and stern. The guards moved forward, and within moments, the life of the empire's most promising prince came to an end. His body was carried out, causing grief and outrage among the Janissaries. Historians today widely agree Mustafa had no plan to rebel, and his removal was a result of palace politics led by Hurrem Sultan.
Now it was time for Hurrem's own sons to suffer, Prince Selim and Prince Bayezid. A battle was about to happen between them, and only one would survive. Prince Selim was born on 28th May, 1524. Prince Bayezid was born in November 1526. By the time Mustafa was removed on 6th October 1553, it was already clear that Suleiman wanted his second son, Selim, to be the next sultan and appointed him governor of Manisa. This stirred opposition among his brothers. The situation got even worse when Hurrem Sultan, who had long been keeping them from open conflict, passed away on 15th April 1558. After her passing, Suleiman officially declared Selim as heir to the throne. This made Bayezid furious, as he believed Selim had no qualities to rule, being known for his indulgent lifestyle. The situation got even worse when this declaration drove Bayezid toward rebellion. Feeling betrayed, he secretly contacted the Shah of Iran. Both brothers turned increasingly fierce toward one another. Selim attempted to poison Bayezid, but the attempt failed. That became the final push. Bayezid began military preparations for one final confrontation against Selim. Selim, in turn, appealed to his father for help, and Suleiman issued a fatwa against Bayezid, declaring him a traitor. At that time, Prince Selim governed Manisa, and Prince Bayezid governed Kütahya. Both mobilized their forces. Initially, Bayezid had the upper hand with the support of Lala Mustafa Pasha and the earlier political backing of Rustem Pasha, who had been the Grand Vizier and son-in-law of the Sultan. Finally, the day arrived. In 1559, the two armies came face to face. But fate intervened. The army sent by Sultan Suleiman unexpectedly joined Selim's side. Lala Mustafa Pasha, whom Bayezid relied upon, proved to be a traitor, and with that, the balance of power shifted toward Selim. Despite being outnumbered, Bayezid tried to raise the morale of his soldiers. When told of the Sultan's fatwa, he said, "This war is not against the Sultan, but only against Selim. After the war, I will return to my post, my lord." Bayezid had gathered nearly 30,000 soldiers, while Selim, backed fully by their father Sultan Suleiman, and supported by the powerful Janissaries, commanded a force of nearly 40,000. The favor of the Sultan weighed heavily on this battle, and before swords were even drawn, the balance of power leaned toward Selim. A crucial moment came when key commanders from Bayezid's side shifted their loyalty, further strengthening Selim's hand and weakening the hopes of his brother. Although his army was smaller, Bayezid refused to back down. He arranged his troops with determination, placing his infantry at the center, cavalry at the flanks, and archers positioned for a steady defense. Selim, on the other hand, placed his artillery at the front, his cannons and musketeers prepared to open the field. The clash began with Selim's forces launching the first wave, raining heavy fire upon Bayezid's lines. The battlefield echoed with the roar of cannons and the thunder of hooves. For the first day, Bayezid's defense held firm, His men fought fiercely, and there were moments when his banner seemed to rise above the chaos. On the second day, Selim brought in fresh reinforcements. His firepower began to stretch the defenses thin. Cavalry charges struck from both sides, arrows darkened the skies, and the struggle turned into a storm of relentless clashes. By the third and decisive day, the field was drenched in exhaustion. Formations broke, and Bayezid was forced to retreat from the field, leaving behind a chapter of sorrow and unfulfilled ambition. He moved toward the lands of the Safavid Shah Tahmasp, seeking refuge, hoping for a chance to recover his fate. But the tides of power had already chosen their side. Under the influence of Sultan Suleiman, Bayezid was brought back, and with him, his dream of becoming the next ruler came to an end. From that moment onward, Selim's path to the throne was left without challengers.
By 1565, Suleiman's health had begun to fail. Gout and weakness made it difficult for him to walk. On the night of September 6, 1566, near Zagetvar, Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent passed away peacefully in his tent, leaving behind an empire that stretched farther than any before him.